Canto 3, Chapter 12, and verse number 27. So I will read the verse 3 times, and then you please decide. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Daya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtuki. So the verse goes like that. Chaya yaha kardamo jagye devahutyaha patihi prabho manaso dehataschedam yagye jagye vishwakrato jagat. Chaya yaha kardamo jagye devahutyaha patihi prabhu manaso dehataschedam jagye vishwakrato jagat. Chhayayaha kardamo jagye devahutyah patihi prabhu manaso dehataschedam jagye vishwakrato jagat. Please recite.
Chayaya Kardamo Jagye Devahutaya Pati Prabhu Manaso Dehatas Jnane Vishakrito Jagat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Chayaya Kardamo Jagye Devahutyaha Patihi Prabhu Manaso Dehataschedam Jagye Vishwakrito Jagat. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Chayaya kardamo jagne hutaya pati prabhu manaso dehataschedam jagne vishwakrito jagat.
Anyone else? Okay, so let us read word to word translation. Chayayaha, by the shadow, Kardabha, Kardab Muni, Jagye, Jagne, became manifested. Devahutyaha, of Devahuti, Patiha, husband, Prabhu, the master, Manasah, from the mind, Dehataha, from the body, Cha, also Idam, this, Jagne, developed, Vishwa, the universe, Prataha, of the creator, Jagat, cosmic manifestation. Translation. Sage Karda, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested from either the body or the mind of Brahma. Purport. Although one of the three modes of material nature is always prominent, they are never represented on a light by one another. Even in the most prominent existence of the two lower qualities, the mode of passion and ignorance, there is something, a tinge of mode of, sometimes a tinge of mode of goodness. Therefore, all the sons generated from the body or the mind of Brahma were in the mode of passion and ignorance. But some of them, like Karda, was born in the mode of goodness. Narad was born in the transcendental state of Brahma. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. So this shlok is the continuation of description of the creation of Lord Brahma, secondary creation. Actually, first creation, as we know, Lord Vishnu did, Mahavishnu, and he created the Sarga. Sarga means the primary creation, which was all the ingredients, like 5 ingredients: earth, water, ether, those things, fire, air. So all these things he created, and then he created all these universes from the pores of his body. And when all the universes were created, Mahavishnu himself came in the each universe is the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and from the navel of the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Lord Brahma was created like that. So, and then Lord Vishnu actually ordered Brahma to create the progeny. So he wanted this whole universe should be filled with all the jivas, jivatma, jiva souls, So all the aquatics and birds and the plants and plantations, everything, human beings, they all were created by Brahmaji. And creation by Brahmaji is called secondary creation, Visarga. So we read in the previous chapter about the time. This chapter describes the different creation. Brahma first he created ignorance, because ignorance was very important, like we read already. I'm not going to go there in those things like tamaha, moham, mahamoham, and tam mishra and andatam mishra. So these are the 5 illusions. And why Brahmaji created these 5 illusions? Because if human being has the knowledge, and so without these illusions, he cannot enjoy this material world, because the jivas want to enjoy this material world. So they have to, so Brahma has to put them in the illusion. So now it's their choice, whether they want to come to the Supreme Lord or they just want to stay away from him. So that's why for a normal person, until unless he forgets his identity, he cannot really live in this material world, because we all have forgot our identity, that we are servant of the Supreme Lord. We forgot that. That's why we are actually suffering in this material world. That is the main reason. So people can forget that thing, that we are servant of. That's why Krishna probably says through the Brahmaji, these 5 kind of ignorances. Yeah, so these ignorances actually bother us everywhere, If we were not in ignorance, we were long time ago, we could have gone to the spiritual world. But then it was Lord Vishnu's order that Brahma has to create the progeny. So to fill up what it for the first came the first he created the 4 Kumaras. And the 4 Kumaras are Sanak, Sanatan, Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. So these are actually born in the knowledge or the Vidya of the Lord. So Brahmaji created avidya also, but at the same time, there was these took place in the Vidya, in the knowledge, So there are 4 kind of knowledge actually in this word. One is the Sankhya knowledge, the Sankhya philosophy, which was by the Kapil Muni, was taught to his mother. Then there is yoga, different kind of yogas, and there is Vairagya, and there is Tapa. So these are the 4 different kind of vidyas or knowledge in this world. So all four Kumaras actually represent these 4 kind of vidyas. So like Sanat Kumar, he represents the Sankhya philosophy, and Sananda represents yoga, and Sanatan represents Vairagya, and Sanat Kumar represents Tapa. So these vidyas, but these vidyas, so that's why all four Kumaras were like impersonal. They didn't did any bhakti, and that's why. But when they went to meet Lord Vishnu, at that time, when they smell the fragrance of tulsi and the chandan from the Lord's lotus feet, at that time, just by smelling, the whole knowledge came up about the bhakti. So Vidya is useless actually if we say the knowledge, if we know the Gyanis, like they know they have a lot of knowledge, but knowledge itself doesn't mean anything actually. Without bhakti, it's all useless knowledge. So bhakti has to be there with the knowledge. Then it's a perfect thing. Then Lord will be happy. But so in the Kumaras actually bhakti was present up to some degree, but it was present as a secondary item. The first item, they gave importance more to knowledge actually, rather than bhakti. But when they smell, then all the bhakti came in their body. So that's where they actually could progress. And after that, after Kumaras, so those Kumaras actually, Brahmaji actually ordered them that you go and produce the population, progeny. But they were elevated souls actually. So what they do, they didn't want it to create progeny. They refused to Lord Brahmaji, who was their father. And so they had different aim actually. They wanted to get liberation because they were Vishnu Parayan, Vasudeva Parayanaha. So they aimed at the liberation. They wanted to get liberated. And so Kumar became disobedient to their own father. And what happened? It angered Lord Brahmaji very much. Brahmaji was very angered by their activity or refusal to produce the progeny because he was ordered by Lord Vishnu to create the progeny. And if his sons disobey him, then how he will have the progeny? He was worried about that. And in that worry, he got angered. So sometime anger comes even in the, like he is the greatest personality on this earth, he is the first human being born directly from Brahma. These people also can get angry. So what to say about ourselves, how we can also get angry, but this anger should be used properly. So what Brahmaji did, he tried to control his anger. And so whenever we also get anger, we should not show it up right away, but we should try to control till it subsides, So that's what Brahmaji did. He tried to control the anger by the intelligence. But what happened is still his anger could not be subsided. So it came out from between the eyebrows. And from the eyebrows, actually, what comes out? A child comes out, and he was in the color blue and red color. So what the blue color shows? Blue color represents ignorance, and the red color represents oppression. So these are the different, like three modes of like patient, Satguna, Tamo, patient, Satoguna, and the Tamoguna, and the Rajoguna. So these are the three different gunas. And we are always, like Prabhupada is put, although one of the three modes of material nature are always prominent. So these gunas are prominent, either one or two or three, but one cannot be without, like just in one guna, that okay, he's in Satyug, he's in Satoguni, he's not. So one cannot be Satoguni all the time, So he may have little bit patience or little bit ignorance, or both, all three little, like that. So we all have combinations, and that combination also changes time to time. Sometimes we become more Satoguni, but sometimes, the different times also we get different kind of gunas. Like in the night time, people get much more like in tamoguni. So that's why they say that early morning it's better to chant early in the morning in Brahma Muhurta. Why? Because in the morning we Satagun prominates actually, predominates, and that's why it's better to do the chanting or reading. That's why morning Srila Prabhupada put the Bhagavatam class, because Bhagavatam is so important Grantha that it has all the knowledge what we need actually to go to back to Godhead. So reading Bhagavatam is very important. So this is that way, and his name was Rudra, because he requested as soon as the child was born, he was in the great ignorance and passion, and he told his father that give me place to live and also give me some name. So father gave him the name Rudra. So we will discuss about this thing and see how. And after that, Brahmaji actually produced the 10 sons from his body and from his mind. So he produced the Narad Muni. How Narad Muni was produced, we read all these things, but I'm just telling the main important points, so we can remember. Narad Muni was born from the deliberation, or deliberation is the intelligence. Actually, intelligence comes from whether to do it or not do it. That the mind decides actually, because mind thinks many things all the time. So when mind thinks all the time, then our intelligence deliberates that whether this should be done or not, this should be done or not. So deliberation from the intelligence came the Narad Muni, which is the best part of the body. In the whole body, best part is the intelligence, or the deliberation. And then from his mind was Marichi. So these were born from the mind and intelligence, but then rest, Vasishtha Muni was born from the breathing of the Lord Brahma. Daksha was born from the thumb, and Daksha was the main Prajapati. He had so many daughters, and daughters were married to the sages, and then lot of generation came through the Daksha. Then Bhragu came from the touch, Kratu came from the hand of the Lord Brahma. The Pulastha Muni came from his ears, then Angira came from the mouth, and then Atri came from the eyes of the Brahmaji, and the Pula came from the navel, umbilicus of Brahmaji. So this is the way, this is the great history, that how this whole creation was done by Brahmaji. And there are, like yesterday's verse we read, how the different factors which instigate our adharma, they increase the adharma, like lust and desire, anger, greed, power of speaking, ocean, and the low and abdominal activities. So these all actually, how they were produced, we discussed about that already. And in today's shloka, we can see the Karda Muni. Karda Muni was produced from the shadow of Brahmaji, Chaya. That's why the first word in today's verse is Chaya Yaha, from the shadow of Brahmaji. Karda Muni was born. So today is and we will read in great detail uh, later on about Karda Muni, how he gives knowledge to his mother, Devahuti. So this is the whole history, and from tomorrow we will read about the episode of the walk. Walk was produced by the mouth of Brahma. The walk is the power of speaking. Also, her name was Saraswati, which was the daughter of Brahma. So this is the history, and this whole chapter is very interesting actually. If you read nicely, so we discussed about the Kumaras. Kumaras were very highly elevated actually, and they had the great aim that we will get liberation in this lifetime. They didn't want it to enjoy this material world, and didn't want it to have to accept the household life and produce children. They didn't want that. That's why they just wanted to go and continue their tapasya. So Brahmaji's mind was filled with great anger. And we see how the Rudra was born. So, so Brahmaji actually, when Rudra was born, so Brahmaji told him that you produce the progeny now when you are here. He didn't know that he's so bad guy, at the beginning, when he was born. And so as soon as the Rudra was born, he continued crying. He cried and cried and cried. That's why his name was Rudra. Rudra means to cry. Continue, because he continued crying, But then Brahmaji tried to pacify him. And once he got pacified, then he said that we are your son. I'm your son, so whatever you want, I will do it. He said, you produced the population. So he said, yes. But he said, first I want to get the name and the place. So then Rudra actually said, your name will be Rudra because you cried so much. And place of residence where you can stay in the heart, the senses, the life air, sky, and air, fire, water, earth, sun, moon, and the austerities. So these are the places the Rudra stays. And there were other Rudras also came along with them, 11 other Rudras. So there are 12 Rudras actually. So Lord Shiva is one of the Rudra also. So which lives in Kailash Parvat, Mount Kailash. So there are other Rudras, actually their names are Manu and Manu, Mahinasa, then Mahan, Shiva, Ritadhwaj. There is Ritadhwaj Maharaj, Prabhupada gave him the name Ritadhwaj. Then Ugreta, Bhava, Kala, then Vamadev, and Dhritarvrata. So these are the different 11 Rudras. And also, later on, they had the 11 wives. And they are called, what they are called? Rudranis, because they were Rudras, so Rudranis. And Rudranis also were 11 Rudranis. So, and the Brahmaji told him that now you are the Prajapatis and you may begin increasing the population. So what the Rudras start doing with the Rudranis, they had so many children, but they were so bad looking, very furious looking. And also their nature was very bad. They are like demoniac kind of nature, they're all tamagunis. And they produce like anything, unlimited production, too many. And they actually were tearing whole universe like that, So Brahmaji didn't like that. Brahmaji wanted them to stop it. So Brahmaji told, that it's enough. There is no need to generate any more living entities because Brahmaji didn't wanted to produce this kind of children because they were not good citizens, like that. So he said, what we should do now? You told us to produce, so we were producing, and now you want to stop it. So Brahmaji told that when the time of dissolution comes, at that time you come and help me in destroying this whole world. So Rudras will come later on and they will try to help Lord at the time of dissolution, which comes like partially at the end of one day, and then then at the time of these 100 years, then there is complete pralaya. At that time, all the Rudras are going to come and destroy this world. So what the Rudras did actually, they circumambulated his father and they went in the forest to perform austerity. So that's what the Rudras think. And then as we read that all the rishis born from the body, either body, like it says in the purport, that they became manifest from either the body of the Brahma or the mind of the Brahma. So, Lord of Brahma's intelligence is the best part of the body. So Narad Muni came from Lord of Brahma's intelligence. And that's why Narad Ji is able to deliver Lord to anyone. Anyone, if Lord wants somebody to make devotee, then he sent Narad Muni, like for the Dhruva and Prahlad and everybody. So Narad Muni can make anyone devotee. He has that kind of power given by the Lord. So after this, what happens? After this, the religion and irreligion, dharma and adharma, they both came from the body of the Brahma. So from the chest of the Brahma came the dharma, the religion. And from this back part, which is the horrible part, Why it is horrible? Because the death takes place from there. So from the back of the Brahma, adharma came. So this adharma is all the like krodha, which is the anger and greed. So we yesterday we read about all this, that all the things, which instigate the adharma, So that's why we should know about them, that how adharma can be produced in this world, how it comes there. So we will be reading tomorrow about the walk, which was the Brahmaji's daughter, and Brahmaji got attracted to his own daughter. That's very surprising, actually. And his sons and everybody saw that what Brahmaji is doing, why he was getting bewildered with his own daughter. So they all tried to explain him, that this is not good for you. So that's why actually our Shastras all the time give the injunction that one should not even sit on the sofa or anywhere, with his own daughter or his own sister or anyone else, the lady except his wife, so that is the proper etiquette. So, but we can see, and Brahmaji was actually stopped by Marichi. They requested him that he should not do that. And Brahmaji, later on, we will be reading that how he got like so much ashamed that he left his body, and he became, his body became a fog, like a cloud in the darkness, and it covered all the direction. Everywhere there were cloud. And then Brahmaji took another body, and that body, Brahmaji's body, it was permitted to have the union with the lady. That's why Brahmaji, he took another body, which was not prohibited from having the sex life. So and then Brahmaji had the wife and his daughter and everything. And so we will be reading about all these things in the next. So Brahmaji actually was contemplating, and then from his body and mind, all the people came. So from his body, actually, he was thinking that I'm seeing, that my sons, which were born from my mind and body, they are producing the children. No doubt about that. But there was no female. So at that time, so first female came from Brahmaji was the Satrupa. The Satrupa, who was the wife of Swayambhu Manu. So actually from the body of Brahmaji came the male part. From the front of the body came the male part, which is called, his name was Swayambhu Manu. And from the back of the body came the Satrupa. So these were the first couple from the body of the Brahmaji. And they, all these generations, all this what we see now, they all came from their children. They are all children of the Swayambhu Manu and Satrupa. So that's why we are called a Manav, human being, because we were born from Manu. That's why we are Manav, or human beings. So they actually Mother Satrupa and Swayambhu Manu, they had many sons by 2 sons and 3 daughters by their union. And so the 3 daughters were Akruti and Ruchi and Devahuti. So these are the 3 daughters, Akruti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So Akruti was married to Ruchi, sage Ruchi. And the middle daughter, Devahuti, was given to Kardamuni. And the Prasuti was given to Daksha Prajapati. And from Daksha, so many generations came. So all this started. These are the actually our forefathers, generations and generations and generations ago, millions of years ago. But this is the history from somewhere from there, our birth came actually. So it is from then that the world gradually became filled with the population. So Swayambhu Manu and Satarupa, they had these children, and they had 2 sons also. What were their name? Uttanpad and Priyavrata. Sorry. So Priyavrata actually was the elder son, but he didn't wanted to rule. He also. So you can see at that time how the children were born. They all wanted, like Kumaras, 4 Kumaras, they wanted to go for liberation. They didn't want to get involved with this material life. But now you see the children, how they are. Right from the childhood, they will start playing with all these new gadgets, all the cell phone you give them, they will know. Like my grandson is hardly 5 years old, but he knows everything, how to press button. Many times I get stuck, but they will know how to get out of it or what to do. So we can imagine, how these things works in the material world. So at that time, the population was very good actually in the beginning, but slowly, because of these 3 gunas, that's why Srila Prabhupada writing about the 3 gunas, although one of the 3 modes of material nature is always prominent. And in the Bhagavad Gita also, we know that these all 3 modes of material nature are very elaborately described, like Sattagun, Rajogun, and Tamagun. So in the Sattva gun actually is the mode of goodness, and then there is purity there in the mode of goodness associated with clarity. People who are in the goodness, they all the time their mind is all clear because they don't have any different kind of ideas. They have good knowledge and they live with the harmony with the other human beings, with the nature. So that's why, and they are very peaceful kind of people. So when we have the sattva predominates in our body, then what happens? We experience very much joyful and content. Our mind doesn't flicker here and there, and we feel well-being and feeling of the well-being, sense of well-being. So that's what happens to the people who are in sattva or the mode of goodness. And people who are in rajagun or the mode of passion, they are very passionate, they are very active people. Like most of the people in this material world are in either rajagun or tamagun. Very few people, especially devotees, are in, of course, satagun, in the satagun. But the people, karmis people, most of them, they have so many ambitions, so many desires. They want to work very hard whole day from morning to evening. They want to earn the money. They want to enjoy this material world. They have so much energy and they want to do a lot of actions. And so that this kind of action and this kind of desires actually leads to restlessness. And so much attachments then comes, okay, this is my wife, attached to children, attached to house, attached to cars, and attached to the money and all those things. And his whole life goes in managing all these things. And then Tamogun actually, they are the lazy people. They don't want to do anything. They are dull, they are ignorant, and there is so much negativity in them also. So when Tamogun is in somebody, they have tendency to get they are very lazy. They want to get, they have delusion and also lack of motivation. They don't want to do anything, whatever is coming, eat. If they don't get any food, they will go to the trash box and get something from there, something like that. People, they will take drug, take a lot of alcohol, lie down in one place, like that. Whatever is going on, let it go. They are not bothered like that. So actually, if we want to increase our spiritual growth, then it's very important to know very properly that what are these gunas and what they can do and how we can get out of these gunas. That's also important. That's why the purpose, whole purpose is about actually gunas, that how we can elevate ourselves. Because for bhakti, to start bhakti even, we have to be on satagun. And then to get progress in bhakti, we have to go above even the satagun to Shuddha Sattva. Then only we can get proper bhakti and go to back to Godhead. Otherwise, if we have the tamagun or rajogun, which most of the people have in this material world, it's very hard to get the to spiritual world like that. So when these guns also depends on our past and present karmas, what we did in the past, what we are doing presently. And as Prabhupada is writing, that one of these gunas predominates in us. And then we have different gunas in different proportions. So if we are acting in the passion, what happens? We do lot of fruitful actions. And we try to earn, like people earn lot of money, one job after the other job. Oh, this job is paying me more money, so let me join other job. So like that. So we go up one from other. That's what we continue doing, work, we never get satisfied. Then you start this thing, you start that thing. So lot of energy all our life, and that's what happens. So Prabhupada is writing, that we should be doing, we should get out of this modes of material nature. Actually, we can see in Srimad Bhagavatam that even Sukdev Goswami, he would like to stay in the womb for so many years. He didn't want it to come out. He said that I will get, as soon as I come out in this material world, I will get involved with these three gunas. And he didn't want it to do that. So he was not coming out. So when Vyasadeva called him, oh son, how long you will be in mother's womb, please come out. And he said that I will get involved with the guna. So Vyas said that, no, you will not get guna. I promise you that you will not, you are a very great soul, you will not get involved with these gunas. But he said that I want a written guarantee from the Supreme Lord. And at that time, Supreme Lord was on this planet. So Supreme Lord actually guaranteed him that, okay, you will not get involved. With that guarantee, only he came out. So we can see these, our senses in this material world, they are very strong actually. And what we need to become a devotee, that we have to subside these gunas actually and came above them, transcend them. That's very important. We can see that how these gunas involve, even Lord Shiva was got involved, with we read about, we will be going to read the Samudra Manthan Leela. When Lord Vishnu came in the form of Mohini, he got, Shiva just, because at that time, when Mohini Roop came, at that time, Lord Shiva actually was in different state. He drank the poison, so he was like having little effect of poison, and he was just meditating on the Lord. And the Lord advised him, just keep in the throat, don't swallow it. So that's why his whole neck became the blue color. That's what is called a Nilakantha. So when he had that, at that time, Lord was distributing in the form of Mohini all the nectar to the demigods and not give anything to demons. So at that time, Shiva was not there. But then later on, he heard that Supreme Lord came in the form of Mohini avatar, and she was very beautiful. So Lord Shiva actually prayed to Lord Vishnu that please come and give me the darshan. So when Mohini came, when Lord came in the form of Mohini to give darshan to Lord Shiva, at that time what happened? He got so much attracted to Mohini form of the Lord. There is nothing wrong to get attracted to the Lord, doesn't matter in which form, So that's why actually it was, then he was running behind the Mohini form Lord Shiva. So we can imagine how these modes works on us, on the even on the Shiva. So we can imagine what is our condition, how we will not get. There is another, we hear that there was a disciple of Vyasdev. He actually also was hearing from Vyasdev that even you get old, the desires for sense enjoyment never goes away. And he won't believe that. So he said, Vyasdev said that, okay, let us see. He said, how is this possible? And when you're 80-year-old, or 75-year-old or 90-year-old, your all desires should go away. And he said, no, desires never go away. They still stay. You don't do anything, but still stay. So one day, actually, that disciple was going, and then in he was in his hut, with Vyasdev, and then Vyasdev asked him something, and he was set down under the tree. And what happened? At that time, disciple went in the hut, and the Vyasdev returned back. So that disciple actually he was a sage, great sage. I'm forgetting his name, but then at that time the rain was coming and everything, and then there was some tornado and all those things, And at that time somebody knocked his hut, and so there was a lady actually and she was wearing white cloth, and in the rain, her all the dress were all wet, and it was sticking to his body, and he can. So in his mind, all these tamoguna started acting, although he was a sage, then. So the lady was knocking the door and he said, can I get a shelter here? It's raining very hard and all these things. So he said, come in, but I'm a sage, so you cannot stay here. And he said, no, I just need corner, any corner, you can put. So he said, there is other room, so you can go and lock the door from inside. Don't open even if I knock the door. And then that sage, started thinking about the lady, and then he sees when there was a lot of like electric in the sky, then in the light, he can see in the flesh, he can see her body. And then he wanted to say, oh, let me give her towel, she's so wet, and then let me give him blanket, and then he started knocking the door again, and she didn't open the door. So he actually jumped from the roof in her room like that. And there he sees his guru Vyasdev, and he says, what are you doing? So he says, now you see, you are so many years old, you are a sage, and still, how the desire came. So this is the way the guna acts on us. When gunas takes place all the time, their combination changes, So in this material world, we get different gunas at different times. We get also happiness and distress also in different times. And all this happiness and distress, what we get in this material world, they are due to our karma actually, because it's not like Krishna who gives us the punishment or anything. It's all our karmas, actions. Whatever actions we do, we get their result, of course. And whatever is the attraction between male and female is there. That's all in Rajagun. Like our leaders, ministers and politicians, they all are in Rajagun also. They have a lot of ambition that I will do this, I will do this, I will make so much money. So actually in the Shastras, it is said that there is golden chain is the tamo rajog satagun, and then silver chain is the rajagun, and the iron chain is the tamogun. So if we want to get out of these three gunas, what we have to do, we have to cut because they are like chains in our wrist and on our body. So we have to cut these chains by the knowledge of our bhakti. Have to actually have the big knife and chop them off, and that can be with the knife of Harina. So we have to take the name very properly, and that way, actually, we can progress in our bhakti, and then these gunas, the rajagun and tamagun, can get away. Because what we are doing actually, like a toad, the frog, what he does, he makes a lot of noise, tarra, tarra, tarra. That then what happens when the rain comes, then the snake comes and eats it. So actually, by doing a lot of tarra, tarra, these these frogs are eaten away. So the same thing we are doing in this material world. We have bad qualities, bad gunas, and we are get, getting more towards the rajagun and tamagun. So we should actually associate with the devotees, and that way we can be safer from them. So from tomorrow we will be reading how Brahmaji has the daughter and how he was going behind her and how his sons actually stopped this. So this whole chapter is very big, and then we will be reading about the Kardamuni son, Tehuti, and so all these good things are coming now, and we will be really enjoying relishing all this past time. And that's why from first chapter to ninth chapter, it prepares us for showing the position of Lord Krishna. And then in the 10th chapter, we enjoy all the Leelas. So, firstly, that we are doing very nicely, we're going slowly to the ninth chapter. And by that time, we will have a lot of ideas. What is the relative position of Lord Krishna? Who is Lord Krishna? And how we can take his shelter? And how other devotees actually showed that, how they take shelter. And with a lot of prayers, and we will learn, how everybody is praying to the Supreme Lord. And that way, once we go in 10th chapter, read all these leelas of the Lord, we can perfect our life like that. So I will end here today. And there is still 5-10 minutes left. So if somebody has any questions, comments, we can discuss that. Thank you very much for listening and giving me this great opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam today. And today's verse was mostly about the gunas, how these gunas were affecting, and how Kardamuni actually today, now we will be reading about because this description is about the Kardamuni actually, and who was the husband of great Dehuti. So Mother Dehuti, I'm not telling about anything about Kardamuni and Dehuti because we are going to read that in the future chapters. But Kardamuni actually was great saint, and he was son of Brahmaji. And then this was Lord's arrangement that the Manu came and gave his daughter Devahuti to him. And then he was a sage, he had not even a hut. He was living under the tree, and Mother Devahuti actually cared him so much for him. She became so lean and thin. She was a princess, but how she actually gave his whole life to Kardamuni, serve him so nicely. So when Kardamuni came out of his trance, then he saw how his wife, newlywed wife, she was so lean and thin, and she was prince. So he kindly gave, and also he had the idea that Supreme Lord wants to take birth from her womb, in his family as his son. So Kardamuni actually made by his mystic power, he made a nice plane, and took Mother Dehuti to all the upper planetary system and showed them in the plane. There were so many gardens and so many lakes and nice flowers and everything. And it was very big aeroplane. And he had 9 daughters there. And then one son also came. And then because they had 9 daughters, but Devahuti wanted a son, so because at the time of marriage, he told Kardamuni, already told his father-in-law that as soon as I give her children, I will walk out of the house. I'm not going to stay, because he wanted to continue his meditation. So he said that I will go away. So she said that you go away, but normally a lady needs a protection. He needs her son in her older age. So who can take care of her? Because all the time the female takes, in the beginning, when she is in the child in a form, she is under protection of her parents till she is married. And after the marriage, she lives under protection of her husband. And when her husband goes away, then she lives in the protection of her son. So this is the Vedic culture. So if her husband wanted to go away without giving her son, so then who will protect her? With whom she will live? So this was the Vedic culture. Nowadays we can see, nobody lives in the olden age. Parents, they put them in the older people's house, senior citizens' house, and they enjoy living, So now the culture is very different. It's not like that, but at that time, Devhuti requested her husband Kardamuni to give him at least one son. So then his son came. When the son was born, then he left, although he knew that this is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but and later on he gave all the knowledge to her mother, and that knowledge is Sankhya philosophy, and we will be reading that in the many next chapters. So thank you very much. I will stop here now. So anybody has any comments or questions, we can discuss. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If nobody has any comments, we will again here today. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Ram Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
namo namah ananta koti Vaishnava.
Namaha. Thank you very much, Prabhu. A lot of things to know from this chapter, and especially with this text, and too many names and too many things. I tried to note down some, but I couldn't go that fast. And what text is this one, Prabhu? What is the number of this?
27th. Text
28.
Yeah, 27.
2827.
Yeah. 312.
You nicely explained everything.
Hare Krishna.
And
So
what
tonight
happened-
Jay Advaita Maharaj is giving class at the Bhakti Garden in the South Street. So if somebody wants to attend, you please go and have association with the Maharaj. He will be there giving the class.
Today's is 3:8:27. You said, Prabhu.
Huh?
Today's chapter text is 3:8:27. No.
3:12:27. That's what I read today.
3:12:27.
3:12:27. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What do the four Kumaras represent? You said Tapa, one represent Tapa.
Yes, there are 4 things actually, and they represent each of them. So there is Tapa, and there is Sankhya philosophy, and yoga, and Vairagya and Tapa. So these are the 4 things they represent. Like Sanat Kumar represents Sankhya philosophy, and Sananda represents yoga, and Sanatan represents Vairagya, and Sanat Kumar represents Tapa. So these 4 are these different vidyas in this material world.
And what is
Four.
Sankhya? Sankhya philosophy.
Sankhya philosophy is taught by the Kapil Muni, which we are going to read. It's understanding this material world, how this material world is created by the different numbers. So it is very good philosophy. Yeah, it's a part of bhakti,
Prabhu, you said Sankhya is from who? Sanat Kumar?
Sankhya philosophy is, yes.
Okay.
Sankhya philosophy is from Sanat Kumar, yes.
And yoga is
But then it was
Sanatan?
taught by the Kapil Muni.
Yoga is Sanatan.
Yes. Yoga is Sanatan. Yeah. No, yoga is Sananda.
Oh, Sanatan.
Sanatan is the Vairagya. Vairagya Vidya. Vairagya Vidya is Sanatan. And Tapa is Sanat Kumar. So they represented these four different knowledges.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. It's a lot of things to know.
Yes, so we read about avidya also and vidya also.
Yeah.
Four things, how the avidya comes, like Brahmaji created that. And then also the five knowledges comes from these four Kumaras. So both. So Bhagavatam is actually so systematic. So we can learn all these things.
Yeah.
Slowly, yeah.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So we can end here now. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.